Hi, and welcome to week 7, interpreting wisdom texts in the Old Testament. Now, I'm in Wichita, Kansas today, about to head to a wedding, and then tomorrow down to Corpus Christi. So I'm recording this a video a couple days early, but I felt like getting it posted so you guys have it on time would be important. So, with that said, here we go to our goals. We are going to identify the elements that characterize the genre of wisdom. Now, that is a type of text that we often skip over. Uh, Looking at Proverbs, looking at Job, however, can be very rewarding. And to understand wisdom is, I think, an essential aspect of understanding who God is and how he works in history. Then we want to describe the correspondences between Egyptian wisdom literature and biblical wisdom literature. In your assignment, you're going to look at an Egyptian text that, again, has quite a few similarities to the Bible. And I want you to explore how that occurs and perhaps why that occurs, and then to explain the relationship between wisdom and other Old Testament theological motifs. We have 2 assignments and a discussion post again this week. While reading the teaching of Amenope, keep an eye out for parallels and similarities. Now, this is very similar to the text, to the one you did on the law code of Hammurabi, but this time looking at an Egyptian text. Keep searching until you find at least 3 and write down the examples of any you find. Based upon your study of Amenope and Proverbs, write a 3-page essay that reflects upon the following questions. What do you think about the fact that there are parallels between the book of Proverbs and the literature of the ancient Near East? And I think this is it's a really important question to make sure that you understand that there are, in fact, similarities, and then come to a theological understanding of whether or not that disrupts what God is trying to do in the Bible. And obviously, I don't think it does, but I want you guys to work through it and feel comfortable with your answer both biblically and academically. And then, are you surprised, encouraged, horrified, or fascinated by these similarities? And then, how would you explain these parallels? And to do that, you're going to need to do some historical context on both the book of Proverbs and some historical context work on the book of Amenope. Which one came first? What was the context of the writing? What was the purpose of the writing? Who was the author of the writing? Who was the hearer of the writing? Those types of historical understandings will help as you compare these 2 texts. As with all of our written assignments, it is due on Monday at midnight. Then we have assignment 7.2 about obtaining wisdom. After reading Proverbs chapters 1 to 8, write a 1 to 2 page paper answering the following question. What lessons should we learn about what we should, what lessons should we learn about what we should do to obtain wisdom? A long way of saying, how do we obtain wisdom according to Proverbs chapter 1 to 8? Be sure to include some specific examples from the biblical text about the source, the purpose, and the methods for obtaining wisdom. Doing some outside research will also be helpful. I'm always looking at this stage in the course that you're able to support your answers both biblically and academically. So I'm wanting to know what the Bible says to support your position, but I'm also wanting to know what other scholars say about your position. At a conclusion, discussing a modern application for your wisdom. That is also due Monday at midnight. Finally, we have a discussion post. One of the main questions in the book of Job is how a just God could exist when suffering is so common on earth. And I want you to write a one-page post exploring how the book is designed to appeal to just this type of a skeptical audience. So you're going to need to read the book of Job. You're going to need to spend some time processing what that means, perhaps some outside research about Job and suffering, and then write a well-argued post by Friday at midnight, and then ongoing engagement in discussion over the weekend. We're approaching the end of the course. Don't forget to complete your course evaluations. They are now open, and so you can do those evaluations at any time. Call or email me with questions. And as we approach the end of the course, any input that you have on ways that, because this was the first running of the course, I'll be making several changes before the course is made permanent. And I would love your input on anything that you found either exciting and I should keep, or really distressing and I should change. With that, have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon.